Okay, Forgotten Girl. If you're wondering why I haven't done it over the weekend, it's because if you missed a few episodes, then that gives you some time to keep up. So now I only do it on the weeks. Forgotten Girl. Let's get started. Again, warning, please do not watch this video if you are scared easily or if you have nightmares. Okay, let's go. Okay, chapter 9. I'm going to read the whole page just to make sure you know what happens. Mama, Iris was trying to get her attention, but she was still talking to Vincent. She'd come home from school on Friday to find her little sister in an almost identical hairstyle to hers, and she wasn't happy about it. They were at the table eating a big dinner of lasagna. I don't think I have this page. Good. Lasagna, garlic bread. Lasagna, garlic bread. And salad that Daddy made. Daniel and his mom came this time too, but Saja had stayed home as there was fresh snow on the ground. Iris couldn't blame her. She felt like the witch that rode her back, the spirits of the snow, the girl with black holes in her eyes, and the dead buried across the street were all among them tonight. The feeling of dread was so strong, dark and solid behind her. She could She could practically touch it, like something would jump out and grab her at any second. Daniel kept his head down, eating, but looked up and over his glasses at Iris, willing her not to say anything about them visiting the graveyard. They'd been doing research all week, but Iris couldn't wait any longer. She asked her parents, "Daniel and I are having trouble cutting the lasagna," Mr. Rose said. Parents, "Daniel, are you having trouble cutting the lasagna?" Mr. Rose said. Here, it's easier if you place the pointer finger over your fork. See? Daniel did as Mr. Rose suggested. "Thanks, Mr. Rose," he said, glancing at Iris again. "Mama," Iris said again. She was talking to Miss Stone. Now, Mama and Miss Stone turned to look at Iris. Mama gave Iris a look. Now, Iris was that polite to interrupt. "The grown-ups talking? Well, I was trying to get your attention when you were talking to Vincent, but you didn't listen," Iris thought, but instead said, "I'm sorry, I need to talk to you about something. It's important." The table got quiet, with even Daddy slowing up on the feast, was eating his lasagna. "Have you ever heard about a girl named Avery Moore?" Avery. So I've been calling her Avery, but her name's Avery. Okay, so I'm sorry. Named Avery Moore, or a Moore family. Avery Moore? Mama scrunched her brow. "No, who is she?" Iris didn't want to say it, but she had to. How else would she find out if her parents knew something? Avery Moore. It sounds familiar, said Miss Stone thoughtfully, and Iris perked up. Are you sure you aren't thinking of Avery Jones, the actress? Miss Rose asked the both of them. Oh, you know what? That's exactly who I'm thinking of, said Miss Stone. And Iris's eyes dropped in disappointment. Why, Iris? Her mom pressed. Who is she? Okay, so you know how Daniel and I are doing the project on abandoned graves around the town, right? Yes, sweetie. Okay, well, Iris looked at Daniel, his eyes wide under his glasses. We found one, and I think it might have been, I do not know that word, so I'm going to spell it for any of those who know. Segregated. Segregated. All right. And we've changed the project to focus especially on there's that word again. Sites. A cemetery. So it's kind of like a cemetery there with a cemetery. So I'm going to say we've been a cemetery? Mom asked, glancing at Miss Stone. Where? Yes, Mama. She paused. Once she said, there was no turning back. It's across the street in those woods back behind those houses. There's a clearing back there, and I saw it. Everyone at the table was silent. Even Vanchant, who picked up the fact that something serious had happened, froze with her fork in midair. Her braids swinging from side to side. There's a girl's grave back there. Her name was Avery, and she's around your age. She's around our age. There are others too, but the names are so old and almost worn off. Daniel and I looked online and couldn't find anything, so we just wanted to know if you knew. Iris trailed off. Her mom just stared at her, trying to figure out if Iris should be reprimated or congratulated, in private or in public, right now or later. What was all she said. And Daniel opened his mouth, but Iris talked over him. There wasn't any point of both of them being grounded for something. Like she said, he could pay her back for it later. Yes, Mama, she said. I went looking I went looking coming home from school one day because I had a feeling that one was back there. She couldn't tell her mama she'd been sneaking out to do it. She'd never seen daylight or her step team again. An abandoned cemetery, Daddy said, sighing and leaning back his seat. Here, in our neighborhood? And to think we've been living across the street from it for this long and had no idea. Iris, are you sure it wasn't a stone or something? I'm sure, Mama, Iris said. I'm very positive. Now, Iris, you shouldn't have gone back there by yourself, Daddy said. You don't know what else could have been back there. I went to Mr. Rose, Daniel blurted out before Iris could stop him, looking from Mr. Rose to Miss Stone. I'm sorry, Mama. Iris's eyes widened in shock, but Daniel was a rule follower. He wasn't going to keep this away from his mom if he couldn't help it. And he wasn't a liar. Neither was Iris, until recently. Well, we have to stop. I'm so sorry. But today I will read some more, but our time's up since I'm on the phone, so I have a time limit. So, oh.